Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 13th, 2022 at approximately 1:45 p.m. PST. Things are getting intriguing. Let's keep the energy running in the right direction. Okay, now one thing that I will tell you beyond what I've already told you, procrastination essentially accomplishes nothing. Now, I mentioned I had a couple of things yesterday that had to be dealt with. And the reason I'm going through this is because, as a spiritual guide, it's very simple. The tools I offer are the ones I personally use. The philosophies the philosophies of life that I talk about are the ones I personally live by. Now, I return to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind everyone in existence that working together we can make this a better world to live in. Okay, society's on a pretty sour road. Okay, it's been going down some pretty black paths, but given time and cooperative effort, we can actually change this back. But it all starts with you, the individual. Now, I mentioned yesterday. Oh, before I get into that, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, please. It apparently has something to do with the YouTube algorithm. Okay. Also, do subscribe to the channel because there's a lot of information coming up. And, the primary concern here is helping you get your feet back on the ground. Now, there is a trade-off. My continually talking about this and repeating myself on a regular basis has helped me get my feet on the ground properly as well. Okay, repetition seems to work really nicely. Now, the thing is, most of you, myself included, so I guess I should say most of us, have learned how to procrastinate. And the reality is that doesn't accomplish much except shoving things down the line. But the reality when you look at it is even if you postpone doing something, you're looking at things changing. Okay, you're looking at things changing. When you finally get to do something about it, it will be in the here and now. Now, everyone in existence is in the same boat. Since you cannot go back in time, and yeah, there's a lot of neat little theories there, and I'm not going to get into trying to discuss that right now. Okay, and therefore the past is already written. How you got to where you are is literally what makes you you. So do your best not to look to the past and go, oh, I should have done this differently. You probably could have, but you didn't. Okay, the future is not written. What happens is you make the changes in today's world in order to change the outcome for tomorrow. Now, the nice part about change is if you don't like the outcome of what you change, you can always alter it again. Now, I have two major financial things that I had to work out. One of which I worked out this morning. Okay. I had an interesting situation with my credit card. So I phoned them up, figured out what was going on. It's sitting fine. Okay. I haven't double checked. Yes, I've got an itchy ear. I haven't double checked to see if everything is smooth yet, but I was told give it a couple of days. So I got the credit card worked out. And currently I'm sitting in very good shape. Now, here's one of the neat things. When it comes to procrastination, about a week ago, where is it? Yes, this one. This little book, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, because I'd run out of them, I just got word just before I came on here that I now have a whole pile of them in stock once again. Okay, I just picked them up. And if you look at the list of books below this video, there's a list of books that are already in print. They are in my possession. Okay. In other words, if you desire one, you look under the list, you'll find a list of the books and how much they're going to cost. And yes, I do take PayPal. Okay. The prices listed there are including shipping. Okay. Now, for the most part, I don't know about some of the other countries. I've got to check into some of them. But in Canada and the continental US, the shipping is included as is. It may be different for other countries. Okay. But that being said, if you'd like a copy, absolutely contact me. The only two that you can get online right now are the Birth of the Wolf Pack and The End of an Epoch, which are the first two books in the trilogy of the Yldrbacian Chronicles. Okay, of the Yldrbacian Chronicles, the latter years. Those ones can be purchased through authorhouse.com, Amazon, Indigo, Barnes & Noble, and Chapters, and probably a few other places if you look around. Working on it, and yes, I am in the process of building a website. Okay, but the important thing from my end is getting the energy moving properly. Now, in the office, which is the backbone of your house, okay, that's where all the brain work goes as far as finances go. So it's imperative you have your brain clear. You know what it's like when you get up in the morning and your brain is all foggy. Same thing happens if the energy is not running smoothly in your office, or for that matter, in the rest of the home. Okay. So, have I got the energy in the main areas of my home sorted around? The answer is yes. Okay, the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. That's the heart of the home. The brain of the home happens to be the office. That's where all the logistical stuff goes on. It's also the backbone of the house. Okay, the arteries in your home are your hallways. If you haven't got them clear of clutter, it is really time to start working on them. Okay, now let's move into the brain of the home for half a minute. This little sheet of paper, okay, I have legally acquired a minimum of $3,500 by April 30th, 2022, at 1 minute to midnight. Now, that 23:59 you see here, that is military time. Now, because I also run my own business, okay, this indicates Inner Voice Enterprises has legally generated a minimum of $600 by April 30th, 2022 at 23:59, 1 minute to midnight. Okay, now I keep this real handy in case you hadn't noticed. It sits right there, just out of your sight, but right in mine, so I can get a look at it. I see my sign. I forgot to move back up there. I keep a sign in the office that says, I am worth it. That is the driving backbone of how I keep myself centered. And I strongly recommend you do as I did. Okay. This is not a question of do as I say, not do as I say, not as I do. In this case, and in most cases with me, if I tell you this is what I'm doing, yes, I recommend you follow suit. Those 4 words. I am worth it. I have them listed in my office. I have them listed on the fridge door, and I have them listed on my front door. Okay, this way I'm constantly reminding myself that I am worth it. Do the same thing. I strongly urge you to do so, because this will help you get things focused and on track. Okay, now, unlike most people, and unlike most people I've talked to or I've seen advertising, they'll go, "Oh, I've got this wonderful tool." Okay, and I'm really encouraged to pass this on to you if you buy my book. Now, I can do that. Okay, and I will tell you, I do recommend it. Just from personal experience, having a written form, a physical written form in front of you is extremely beneficial. Okay, having it right there is very beneficial because it gets it in easy form. Now again, this procrastination thing doesn't work well. Okay, in this book, not only did I put the baseline of how I turned my life around, of how I went, okay, how am I going to take this belief in myself and make it possible? So I broke it into small chapters. Okay, they're only a few pages long each, so if you need it repeated, read it again. Okay. But the real backbone to it is this. First and foremost, even if you don't really feel like it, put a smile on your face. Doesn't matter where you go. If you don't feel like smiling, force the issue. Okay, if you really cannot bring yourself to smile, grab some makeup and paint it on your face. Yes, you'll get weird looks if you do that. Okay, but you may bring a smile to somebody's face. Although I know of one person, and there's lots of them out there, that if you're painting a smile on your face, there may be a problem with some people. I know of one person in particular that has an absolute hate-on for clowns. Okay, so this can have its side effects. I've walked down the street and I've smiled at somebody, and they've turned around and gone, "What are you smiling at?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm still breathing." Okay, you cannot control the way other people are going to react to you. You can, however, control the way you react to their reactions. Now, where it comes to the energy levels, okay, you will find the more clutter you get out of the way, the more relaxed you are, and the more effective things become. I know as I got and get rid of the clutter out of my life, my energy level is going through the roof. Last night I got to bed at 11:30. I woke up like at 12:30. I'm going like, okay, I can't sleep. Well, that didn't work all that well. But the reality is, the happier you are, the more relaxed you are, the more energy you'll have, and the easier it will be to cope with other people. So I've got my office worked out, so I can deal with it relatively well. Okay, this little coffee, since I've already had 6 of them, and it's only this will be 1, 2, 3. No, sorry, I've had 4 of this size coffee already, and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. So, once I'm done this coffee, I will swap over to straight lemon water. Okay, simply because it's probably more beneficial for me in some ways. Procrastination does not work well. Okay, it's great for putting things off, but you don't get anything accomplished. Okay, now, oh yes. Speaking of getting things accomplished, this little bag here. Here we are. Had to get myself a new book to write with. So when I went out for coffee this morning, I took this little book with me. Okay, and this is where I start doing the writing when I'm not working on the computer. This is where I start writing the stories for the Yldrbac Chronicles. This is the one I'm working on now. Where'd the other one go? I don't know offhand. And that's okay, because I'm not going to find it right now. But again, it boils down to getting things organized. Pick what you desire to do. Now, I've mentioned this a lot of times. Okay, in case you're just joining me, this is a tool that I use. I keep a list of things written so I can check them off as I go along. Okay, and there's a couple that I haven't quite gotten finished, and I haven't quite finished with yet. See, I finished with the character is dealt with. Now what was that? Oh, those got submitted. And oh yes. Y12C9 is being worked on. So that's good. These are just some of the chores that I've got. Now, like I said, that list, take a look in front of you. If you see anything out of alignment, out of place, anything you're not content with, put it on your list. That's where you start the transition. If you haven't started already, now is a better time than any other. Okay. So you start with three tasks. Keep them to 15 minutes to half hour. Okay, that way you can check them off and feel like you got something accomplished. Okay, right now I'm finishing off another 2 of the things on my list, which would be recording this video and then getting it posted. Okay, now the nice part about getting the energy running, I don't know if you've noticed, I know I've felt it. The more organized you are, the faster your energy runs and the more you can get accomplished. Not to mention the more energy you have to work with. And of course, if you're going out of the house, the stress outside can be really problematic for some people, myself included. But the more relaxed you are, the better off things run, and the more readily you'll be able to deal with the stresses from outside. But it requires your getting started on it. Okay, so I'm just making myself a couple of notes here of things that I've got to deal with. Okay, not the least of which is finding book 12, finding it and getting rid of the spare copies. Okay, because I've got a lot of back copies that I do not, of duplicate copies, that I do not require, and they've got to go. If I don't get started on them, nobody will. And here's the thing about success. Whatever you call success, that's what you're aiming at, not what I call success. What I call success, I managed the first step of it. I've managed to get myself, I went into my office, into the brain of my home. Okay, and I've managed to get the finances running properly. The one glitch that I had that there was a hiccup in, I've dealt with. It's in order, so therefore I can now start moving forward. I've got another one that I've got to deal with, which is a bill that never should have been put there. And I got to find out how to put an end to it because it was fraudulently put. And yeah, very, very much fraudulently. I told the advertising company in question, do not renew this listing. I do not desire it. Well, they pushed it through anyway. Okay. And now they want me to pay for it. Well, they wanted me to pay for it for months. If anybody out there has an idea as to how to get that bill dumped because it was fraudulent, regardless of what they say on their notes, I told them flat out, do not renew. Their advertising did nothing for me. And therefore I told them don't renew it. They renewed it anyway. Now I have no intention on paying this bill, but there's got to be a legal way to pull it off their books that I don't have to pay for it. So I am asking you, if you know of a way to do so, absolutely, please drop me a note in the comments below. Okay, any questions that you have, this really boils down to, like I said, working together. In other words, with your assistance, I can cure this problem once and for all and get it off my books. Okay, this is why I say working together, because even I require assistance periodically, actually a lot of the time. But you get you get the energy moving properly, clear the clutter out of the way. It's absolutely imperative. Okay, but by clearing the clutter out of the way, you'll be fine. Okay, if you've got questions in any field, and I don't care what the field, okay, I'd love to hear from you, both what your questions are or suggestions, because I've now gone live, and Saturday morning at 8 a.m. this Saturday, we're talking in like 3 days, I will be going live again. Okay, therefore, in the comments below this video, if you've got ideas of what you would like me to discuss live, or questions you've got that you would like answered, if you desire them answered on air, great. If you just want to keep it quiet, there's a whole list of contact points below this video that will tell you exactly how to get a hold of me. And I will do my best to get a hold of you as quickly as possible. Okay, one of my big chores for tonight is going to be putting together an advertising package, a synopsis of the birth of the Wolfpack and the end of an epoch, and get them to Author House to start the marketing there. And again, I'm learning how to market on the fly, as it were. However, it will happen in time. Right now is a question of making sure everything is running smoothly. Okay. And again, you may be, especially if we move back into the mind for a half a second, into the office, the brainchild of the home. Okay. If you're running into snags with finances, I am not a financial advisor. I simply tell people what I've done to become debt-free. Okay. Where I don't owe anybody legitimately anything. Okay. So with that in mind, if you've got a question, absolutely ask. Okay. The only thing I guarantee is, number one, it won't lie to you to make you feel better. I guess it's the two things I guarantee. And number two, the tools that I use have worked for me. It's that simple. But the reality is, if they work for me, the odds are they'll work for you as well. Okay. So I've got the energy in my office working properly. I've got the arteries in my home cleared out. So the brain's cleared out, the home and the arteries are cleared out, the heart is cleared out. That's a 3-chamber heart. Dining room, living room, and kitchen. Okay. The communication, the link to the outside world is open. Okay, I've got that set up. Okay, now all I've got to do is get sorted out, get the extra junk out of the waste stand, which, by the way, is your washroom and laundry room. Okay, get the clutter out of there. Okay, your resting area is the easy part. That's the bedroom. And again, the more of the stuff you get out of the way, the more clutter that goes away, the easier it will be for you to relax. Okay, for you to get a decent night's sleep. Okay. Now, I've gone from an absolute disaster where it come to the energy levels. What you're seeing here with this little bit of stuff here, it used to be jacked all the way to the roof. There wasn't any room. It was all full of boxes, all full of junk. Now, the filing cabinet still has a lot of files in it that I've got to go through. But, whereas these shelves over here used to be full of junk, they now hold the books that I've got available, the inventory that I've got. Okay, so most of the books, from the shelf with the brown box on it right there, all the way down, those are all, those shelves there have books in them that I've written. Okay, and this is a way of keeping them in order. Now, for those of you that are gamers, this is another one. Okay. If you're a gamer, and I know some of you are, okay, like I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was, frankly, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was 13 years old. Okay. Matter of fact, I don't know what day of the week it was. I should look that up sometime. Well, actually, I do. It was the first Saturday of June. It was the first Saturday of June that I went and played, right before I got out of school. Okay, right before summer holidays. But this is a custom-made dice box. Okay. And yes, I still have a few of them. Actually, I've still got a number of them I haven't dealt with yet. But when I'm talking dice box, for those of you that are gamers, trying to get, okay. There's one of the dice. Okay. These boxes are custom made. Okay. So, I mean, from that standpoint, like the books, they are part of the Yldrbac Chronicles and the stuff I'm working with it. Okay. But again, it boils down to the heart. Now, I do my writing. That's where my enjoyment comes in. I do my role playing, my Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, I do that with friends. Tabletop gaming. I do the painting of my figurines. These guys. Just picked up some neat ones. These are demons. I'll be getting to them later. Well, not necessarily these ones later today. But I will be getting to some painting later today. Okay. These are hobbies. The stuff that I've mentioned before. That it's imperative you split your energy into 4 categories. Your personal time. When you do the stuff you personally enjoy. Now, I paint the figures simply because that's a hobby. I'm not planning on making money with them. I am just simply, that's what I do. Okay. But split 4 ways throughout, balanced over the week. Meaning 42 hours a week. Okay. Spend time doing your hobbies, what you enjoy. 42 hours a week, roughly. spend time with other people in quite frankly your interpersonal relationships, friends, family, that special someone, co-workers. If you're into that sort of thing, into this sort of thing, go meet strangers. The way I heard it put, strangers are simply friends you've never met. You also have to split 42 hours a week into your work and or education. And the other 42, which is only 6 hours a night, by the way, get some sleep. Do not forget sleep is required. Okay, by bringing that into balance, and you do it on a weekly basis because very few jobs allow you to work only 6 hours. I don't even have one of those. Okay, but in addition to that, just to keep things in order, where it comes to if you run your own business, only run it 5 days a week. Pick 2 days back to back, doesn't matter which two, that you close the doors. And if you happen to run a restaurant and you want to run it 24/7, if at all possible, don't. Okay. Give the entire staff those 2 days off back to back. You won't lose a lot of money. People will come when you're open. Okay. Rest assured, this society was not built on working 7 days a week. Okay, yes, you've got your home stuff you've got to do, but not a paid job. Okay, if at all possible. That's the biggest issue. Now, of course, I have been talking to you about ways of getting your finances under control, and I will keep doing that. But when we're looking at energy, you've got to have the energy available for you to function. You have to become your primary concern. Same as I had to become my primary concern. Now, don't get me wrong. I will still help people as best I can. Hence why I said I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. And if you've got a question or something you'd like to say that you don't desire everybody else in the world to read, then drop me a private line in one of the contacts point below. And just for clarification, if you're trying to reach me face to face, okay, yes, I do meet people face to face, but the only mediums I work with where it comes to video contact are Skype and Facebook Messenger. That's it. Okay. I've had a number of people that have asked me, and I've said, look, it's Skype or Facebook. And they go, well, what about this one? No, it's only the two. There is no what about. Now, with this in mind, we're at the half-hour mark, so I'm going to bring this to a close, and I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.